Thank you so much. I love that. I love asking that question, why shouldn't we? Because it just opens our minds to possibilities and what can be, whatever we want to call in. My name is Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and welcome to 2025. It's a brand new year. It's a time that we can just say what we want to have happen and know that that's exactly how the year is going to unfold for us, because that is what we teach, the power of our words to manifest our lives. So last week we talked about getting ahead. And that was just about not getting ahead as other people say, what other people call getting ahead. It's getting ahead for you, wherever your life is evolving to. It's always about an evolution of your life. What's next? Because that's what your heart always asks. You get somewhere and you're so excited about going. And the moment you get where you're going, the question comes, oh, well, what's next? Because that's who we are. We will constantly be evolving in this life and the next. And that's what we do. Today we're going to talk about we see what we say. We see what we say. And this is about the power of our words to manifest our lives. And so if we are living by design, which is what we recommend, because we can live, our life is going to unfold. Whether you put your hands on the wheel of life, or whether you just let it go off the road and go off-roading, that's great. However you want to do it, that's your choice to do. But this is about your life unfolding by what you call it, the words that you use, the words that you choose. It's so powerful. And one of the things I was just saying when I came up, why shouldn't we? I'm using a few other phrases in my life to open my mind up about what is possible. And one of the phrases that I offer to you, a couple of phrases, is, what if I could? Because there's so many times when we want to move forward and we think, oh, I can't do that. And that's from history, that's maybe from the consciousness of the universe. Who knows where that's from? But we can say, oh, I don't know if I can. But if you just change that to, what if I could? If you just ask yourself, what if I could? Those are words that will open up your mind and let possibilities come in and let the universe know you're ready for something more. What if I could? This can't happen. What if it did? What if it did? Again, just what if? Opening your mind, and what if possible? So those are a couple of phrases I want to offer you. I like to share the principles and how things work through story, because story is the best way, I believe, for people to understand what we're saying and how we can work it into our lives. And so the story that I want to tell you, a couple of stories, I'll try to get it fit in, not keep you here too long. So I may tell two stories, I may tell one, depends on how long it takes me to tell them. You know me. But this is about a manifestation using the words and using your words, not taking on other people's words. One of the number one agreement, there's 4 agreements, right? The 4 agreements, and number 1 is being impeccable with your word. Being impeccable with your word. So that's about saying what you mean and meaning what you say and being sure that, because the words you use are powerful. So, and the words you believe, the words you say. So I was in Waco, living in Waco with friends with Pat and Glenn, and I've always liked working with young people. In particular, I don't know why. Well, actually I do. I was thinking about this morning, why this works for me. I like working with junior high school kids, 7th grade, 8th grade. Yes, and that is what I get. Whenever I say that, they're like, what, those little monkeys? Because they're all over the map. They're everywhere. And that's why I like them. Because they're excited about life. They're still young enough to be excited, not old enough to know everything, but wanting to know things. Think they know some stuff. And so, and I remember being in the 7th grade, and the teacher that I had, I'll never forget her. I don't remember her name, but I know what she looks like. I remember her, and she just loved us too. And you could feel that she loved us, and she would answer questions, and she would just be excited about our excitement, and just I loved it. So anyway, I'm in Waco, and I want to start working with young people. And one of the reasons that was motivating for me was because my husband's son, my stepson, committed suicide. And I wanted to know why that happened, because he seemed happy. We seemed happy together. He was out on his own, and he seemed to be doing really well. And then we heard that he committed suicide. So I wanted to find out about what that was about, and started reading and going to classes and things like that. And the salient point that came out to me about why someone would commit suicide, certainly kids, was because they didn't think they mattered. They felt like if they were gone, nobody would miss them, that they didn't have an imprint on this world. And so I wanted to make sure that the kids that I was around knew that they mattered, knew that they were important to their families, to the society, to everyone. And so that's why I wanted to create this this program that I wanted to work on. It was called the YAC, the Youth Action Committee. That's what I wanted to do. So I was talking to this woman, and she was working with young kids, and she said, hey, I'm going to go down to a conference with young people. Why don't you go with me? And it was put on by T-Noise, which is Texas Network of Youth Services, T-Noise. So I went down there. It was a great conference, met a lot of kids, spoke to them about what I wanted to do. And when I came back to Waco, she said, hey, I'm putting on a proposal conference so that you can write out a proposal and get a grant for doing this work. I said, great. So we went there, my husband and I, and we walked in the room, and we were sitting there with a whole bunch of other people that had done it before. So we were brand new. And everyone in the room who I spoke to, who were already doing programs, told us we couldn't possibly do it. It was already full. There's a lot of people putting in for the money. There wasn't that much money, and we weren't going to be able to get in. And I said, no, okay, well, those are your words. We don't have to take on the words of someone else. And it didn't even go into my psyche, because I knew I was there for a reason. I knew I was there. So we got all the information, we filled out the forms, we put in our proposal. Now here's how a grant works if you've never done a grant. You write a grant, and they score it. And you get graded, number 1 is the highest, 2, 3, 4. And however much money they have in the pot, they pass it out based on the highest person, and they get what they ask for. So if you're number 1, you ask for $30,000, there's $100,000 in the pot, you get your 30, and there's $70,000 left. The second person gets whatever they ask for, so it goes on down until the pot's empty. You know which one we got, right? Number 1. We got all the money that we asked for. We don't listen to what somebody else says. And when I was going to talk with, I want to do it as an after-school program. So when I was going to talk to the schools about coming to talk, to do stuff with the 7th graders, they're like, my God, yes. What's your name? Let's grab that right now. What are you doing? So I had so many kids in the class, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and they loved doing stuff with me. So here's why it worked. Number 1, because I treated them like I wanted to be with them, like I felt like they were important. We went on so many trips, really stuff in the neighborhood, just going to grandparents' homes, their parents' homes, cleaning up the yard, painting their house. We collected money for Christmas presents. They collected money, made stuff, collected money, went to Walmart, bought the gifts, wrapped the gifts, took the gifts to the kids. We went to city council, when they just how rules got made, how the government worked, how they could impact what happens. So many wonderful things. And this comes about because you just decide. You just make a decision. You just say, it's what's important to me, and it doesn't make any difference what anybody else says. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm here to do. So one of the things that occurs when we're thinking about doing something, we have a good idea. We have a grand idea. What's the first thing that stops you? How? How is this going to happen? Particularly if so many people around you are so quick to tell you it can't happen. It's too hard. Here's what you have to know. It can't happen for them. Those who are saying it can't happen for them. They have no idea what can happen for you. You claim your life because it's you and Spirit walking together. And Spirit doesn't give you that idea then just to leave you hanging. That never happens. If an idea is resonating with you, it's for you. And you can let go of the how. and just walk forward. He's only going to give you one step at a time. He, she, it, however you speak of God. George only gives you one step at a time, and I have a theory about that. Because if Spirit gave you the whole shebang and rolled it all out and said that, yeah, you're going to start here, and then you're going to have to fight these people, and then these people, you would never step into it. So only going to give you the one step that you can see. That's all you need. Just take that step. And then the next step will be revealed. It's kind of like the yellow brick road, right? You're not going to see the whole road, just the step in front of you. So that's what we do. You're going to see what you say. So if we were just talking about that in our class this morning, people will tell you all kinds of things. There's a whole consciousness out there in the world about what can or can't happen. There are all kinds of paradigms in our own heads, rules and beliefs, and a consciousness that says what women are supposed to be like, what blacks are supposed to be like, what kids are supposed to be like, what you name it. There's people out there that will tell you how it's supposed to be. But how it's supposed to be is how you and Spirit says it's supposed to be. Use your words. That's how powerful it is to manifest. So just know that. And just a finishing thing up, an extra thing that occurred when I was in Waco and working with the kids. I needed to create a nonprofit. I never had a business before in my life. I needed to create a nonprofit, and I was going to school, getting my bachelor's at the time, and I was at MCC, and they were telling me that there was a business planning class that was happening in Fort Worth at the Women's Center for 10 to 12 weeks. And I said, great. So I drove up once a week from Waco to Fort Worth, which is when I fell in love with Fort Worth, and took this business planning class. It was fantastic. So I went back and was able to do my business using that and all of that. I'll tell you that to say this. That happened in 2009. This year, I claimed my business. I'm doing my business. My business is going to take off. I was talking with Pat about it. 2025 is my year. So I started to put that in my head. I said, that's what's going to happen. I need to find some women I want to work with. I want to find my avatar, who my group is that I want to talk to. And I started looking for a networking group to go with. I saw this networking group. I said, yeah, this probably is. I finally decided to go for their last meeting this year. I went to that because it was a Christmas party. I like to party. And that's good. Get some gifts and I'll go. So I did what I wanted to do. They said, bring a gift, $25 or less. I'm not doing that because I know what I want to do, right? So I got a bag that I love. I've given this bag to everybody. I carry it. I give it to so many people because I love it. So I bought this bag. I filled it with stuff because it's a women. So I filled it with books and journals and just all kinds of stuff. And we had a game that they played, and it was a roll of dice. And whatever the dice rolled up, it'll tell you, pass. Everybody had a gift in front of them. Pass your gift to the left, pass it to the right, whatever it was. The moment this woman saw this gift, the bag, because someone had gotten it, and she said, oh my God, she claimed it. She goes, I want that. And it kept going back and forth and over and across. Finally, the die rolled. It was her turn, and it said, pick whatever gift you want, and then you won't have to exchange it again. It'll be yours. And she got right up and grabbed that bag from somebody, and boom, she took it. There was another woman in the room, and she was doing logos and T-shirts and cups, and she had a lot of beautiful cowboy T-shirts. And my sister is a cowboy fan, and I hadn't gotten her those little socks that you stuff with, those cute little toys. And so I thought, I'm going to get her a couple of T-shirts from this woman. So I talked to this woman. She said, oh, I got a whole bunch. Let me just come to my house, and you can see all this stuff and make a choice, and I can get it done in a couple of days. I said, great. So I went to her house, and I ordered some T-shirts. The woman who got the bag was her business partner, which I did not know. She was there at the house. We sat there and started talking. Those two ladies were the ones who did that program for me in 2009. They kept saying, you look familiar. Your name is familiar. Pjae Stanley. They're the ones who taught that class. And now we are fast friends. They are showing me all kinds of things here in Fort Worth to do. So it was just me. It was resonating with me to go to this networking thing. By the way, that networking thing was going on for 25 years. That woman has been doing it at this same place for 25 years, 2 blocks from my house. That's how Spirit works. It's easy when you make a decision. Use your words. Do what Spirit's telling you. Don't worry about it. And you won't always know what the faith walk looks like until you look back on it. You just do what Spirit is telling you to do and move forward. You won't see the connections until, you may not ever see the connections, but you'll see that your life is unfolding the way that you want. And that is why it's important for you to know that you see what you say. So claim the life you want now. That's how you do it. One more story and then I'm going to go. My sister called me up. We're very good friends. She's a prayer warrior. She's a fundamentalist. Great woman. I love her. We talk all the time. And we believe in a lot of the same things. We just, community is not the same. But she comes here. She does stuff for us. I go to her place. And she got a message from one of her, she works for Verizon, and she got a message from one of her senior people that said there was a spot opening up in Mexico City, and they wanted to know if she would go. So she called me and she said, there's something going on in Mexico City, and they're asking me if I should go. And I said, go. You definitely need to go. Definitely need to go. We're going to put that. We're putting that in our thinking. We're going to go. And here's why. My sister she's the baby of the family, and she's the savior of the family. She believes that if she goes away, the family will fall apart. And she really believes that. And it's possible that it's true. She's the only one that's had a big enough house that everyone in the family has lived with her at one point or another. Everyone. Myself, my sons, my everyone has lived in her house with her. So she doesn't want to leave it, but she feels trapped in that. She can't live her house. She can't live her life. And so I said, no, we're changing that. And here are the words. So, you know my thing about you can't answer a question that hasn't been asked. Well, the moment she told me she was going, I said, that's I'm in. I'm in like Flynn. She said she wanted to go. So I had these tapes, right? Because I learned Spanish and Vietnamese and all that. So I sent her all the tapes that I had. Let's get a class together, and we're going to start learning Spanish. Let's start looking around for a compound. Because I'm going to move down there with you. I'm not going to move down there. I'm going to come down there with you and visit, and I'll be there all the time. We're getting out. You're getting out. Start fixing your house up. So I'm constantly putting that into her mind because I know that she wants to go, and I'm going to be her partner in believing. Put the right words in her mouth so she can say, this is what you have to not only is it about you living your life, but believing that other people can live theirs as well. You don't need to be here for someone else to live their life. I believe that they will live a better life if they disconnect from her and live the life that they want to live. But they're very stuck there. Everybody's stuck. So let's go. That's what we're doing. So that's what we get to do. Not only do we get to speak the words into our lives, we get to speak into someone else's life as well. When they have already told us what it is they want, we can speak with them. We can be partners in believing with them and hold the truth that they already know for them and with them until they can hold it for themselves. This is the power of our words. This is the power of our love. This is what we know. Okay? So this is what we're doing this year. To me, this is 2025. And this is the time for us to claim our lives. Speak your life into existence. Speak the words that you want, not that you don't want. Speak the words that you want because you know who you are. You are an individualized expression of God. So whatever you say, you claim it, it'll be there. It's not going to unfold the way you think it's going to unfold. Just follow what Spirit is telling you to do, and it'll unfold more beautifully than you can ever imagine. Know that for sure. And when you don't know it for sure, call any one of us. And we will know it with you. Not for you, with you. With you. Because we know who you are. We know who we all are. We know how powerful we all are. Speak your word into existence. So that's what it is for today. And the three things I'd like to leave you with is just speak your word. Know that be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable. Say what you actually want. Speak your word into existence. Listen to what Spirit has to say and follow that. Just that one step. Don't do anything else. And keep moving forward. Know who you are. One last story I love to tell, and this is about John and Jan Randolph Price. Such a cute story. They both passed away a few years back. But fabulous, and they had a book. What's that book, the Abundance book?
Super Beings.
Yeah, the Super Beings, they did that one too. But they also have a 40-day abundance plan book, Liberty Green book. And so anyway, I was, and they lived in Bernie, Texas. And I was actually in San Diego, my first CSL church, and they were speakers there. And so they were a funny couple, and they were just talking about spirit and how spirit works. So they were supposed to go, and it could have been to Bernie. I don't know where they're supposed to go, but they were supposed to go to some little small town, a little country town, and speak. And they were starting to get this feedback from the town that the fundamental part of the town were very, very upset about them coming. The devil was coming, and all this kind of stuff. And so they were concerned for the church they were going to, and they called them and said, "Hey, listen, we know that they're talking about it on the radio, and that you're getting a lot of pushback, and so perhaps we shouldn't come." And so the woman they were talking to, I don't know if she was a minister, I don't know who she was, but she said, "Well, just hang on, let me go see what Spirit have to say." So she put them on hold, and she went back with her and her sisters, and they prayed about it. And she came back to the phone, and she said, "Yeah, Spirit said, y'all come on down." So they said, "Okay, fine." So they went. That place was overflowing. Not only did they have, just about everybody in town was there, they had to put chairs in the parking lot. They had to put speakers out in the parking lot to hear, because that's what Spirit said. So what's Spirit saying to you? What's Spirit say? That's all you got to know. What Spirit say. And so it is.